Thankful Thursday. Hi everyone, my name's Ron Couming from RCS Technology Solutions, and today I want to talk to you about Frank Shankwitz and tell you why I am both thankful and grateful to him professionally and personally, and very grateful to call him a personal friend. Frank Shankwitz, for those of you who don't recognize his name, you certainly recognize the foundation that he and his wife and several others founded around 1980, and that was called Make-A-Wish Foundation. Just to give you a little blurb about Make-A-Wish Foundation, right now they have 36 chapters or 64 chapters in the United States and 36 international chapters covering 5 continents. There's an entire section written about Frank Shankwitz on Wikipedia. He's received awards from President George Bush, and he has all these accolades for what he has done to help people, both the children who are suffering from terminal illnesses, and it's now been branched to children suffering from serious illnesses, and their families. Can you imagine the mental and emotional turmoil of being a parent and your child having cancer or leukemia and having to take your 6-year-old child, younger or older, give or take a few years, to the hospital all the time, getting the chemo? Can you imagine that? So when they provide these wishes and the family gets to go with the children, I mean, it is tremendous. I also have a family member who had thyroid cancer, and I think she was about 12 or 11 or 12 at the time, and they didn't know how it was going to turn out. Frank Shankwitz and Make-A-Wish Foundation, I never asked them for anything. My cousins and them put it through themselves. They went on a trip to California, to Disneyland or Disney World, whatever it's called in California. I know there's another one in Florida. But they went on that trip and they had such a great time. Thankfully, my niece now has cured. Her thyroid cancer has been cured, or at least it's in remission. So that's huge, huge. And when I met Frank, I almost started crying because it was just such, I knew what my family was going through, and it was a tremendous effect on them. So I can imagine. Now, he is literally that same effect, those same feelings. His Make-A-Wish Foundation and the wishes that they have granted to both the individual child and their families has, I think they're in the 80,000-ish or something. It's way up there, so it's really a tremendous impact. Talk about having impact. And because the impact of Make-A-Wish Foundation, and Frank is such a humble guy, I'll get to that in a second, and they made a movie called Wishman about him, and it's coming out very soon, Wishman, and you can look that up at wishman1.com. Also, I'm going to put a bunch of links. I have an interview that I did with Frank on my radio show, Internet Marketing and Business Solutions with Ronald Couming. It's every Monday at 1 to 12, and I have a link to that in the description so you can listen to Frank talk, and talk about how Make-A-Wish was founded. They got a call about this child named Chris. I'm never going to do the story justice, but they got a call about a child named Chris who was terminally ill, and he always wanted to be a police officer or a state trooper. Frank at the time was a patrol officer in Arizona. So not only did he create Make-A-Wish Foundation, but he also served as a public service first responder officer in Arizona. He recently just retired, and so he was there for 30 or 40 years. He was a detective of homicide when he retired most recently, and I think just in the last year or so. So he has contributed his entire life to being a first responder and helping other people have a better life. The whole story about Chris is amazing. When I interviewed him on my radio show, Internet Marketing and Business Solutions with Ronald Couming, the clip is below. Again, I will never do justice to the impact of what Frank talked about. When I interviewed him on my radio show, he talked about Chris, how Chris did this. Chris got it started. And I just found it so humbling. And I said, no, Frank, Chris was the first child that you served. Chris was the first child that put this in motion. But Make-A-Wish Foundation came to fruition because of you and your tenacity, and because you set about it and you kept going with it. There were ups and downs, and you can hear about that in the interview on how it progressed from the idea to actually happening. And Frank stuck with it. And he never took a salary, not a penny, in 30-something years, or however long it was that he was the president and CEO. I don't know if it was 30 or 20, but he never took a salary. And so it's just amazing what Frank Shankwitz has done. So he is super humble. He doesn't say that he did this. He said, thankfully, Chris, or thankful to Chris. So he talks about what he did as, it was really somebody else's. Frank Shankwitz is one of the best people you'll ever meet, period, in life. And I'm super grateful to call him a friend. And I speak across the country on internet marketing, and Frank and I have shared the stage several times. And more important than just sharing the stage, before that we go out to dinner with other speakers as well. We all go out to dinner and eat, and he's just a great guy. If you don't know Frank Shankwitz, who is the founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation, he's been married for 40-something years, maybe even 50 years to Kitty, one wife, and he's also a first responder in Arizona, just retired, was there for well over 30 years. So I mean, his whole life has been dedicated to serving others, and he's had such a huge, huge impact. Frank Shankwitz is today's focus and today's spotlight on Thankful Thursday with Ronald Couming. Again, links about Frank, to his Wikipedia, to about the interview that he's done with me, a link to the movie that's coming out about him will all be in the descriptions below. Please like and share this video. Frank will never ask for accolades. He'll never ask for people to say great job, right? But people really need to know that that one idea he had back in 1980, or it might have been 1979, the idea, and then it actually happened in 1980. That one idea that he had and other people helped him create along the way just helped so many people. So one person or a group of 2 or 3 people can really have an impact. So his story is about what he has done, but it's also about the power of the heart and the power of contributing and giving back and just getting something started, and it will take on a life of its own. Each and every one of us has in us the power to do greatness. We just have to have the confidence to go out there and do it. Frank Shankwitz is a true hero, and if you don't know him, you need to know him. Have a great day, everyone.